Hey guys, on this month's Disney Rewind, we're going to be talking about Peter Pan and Wendy. So, before we head into our thoughts and feelings on Peter Pan and Wendy, which was a Disney Plus exclusive movie, we are most likely going to have spoilers in this video. That being said, though, there has been a vast amount
Can
of
you
remakes.
spoil
Yeah,
Peter Pan?
there has been so many freaking remakes of Peter Pan in the last several decades. Yeah, I think
You're pretty dumb if you haven't seen.
I
Sorry,
think-
if you haven't seen a Peter Pan movie.
I think everybody knows the story of Peter Pan. Yes, this movie did kind of throw in a few little different things that might be a little spoilery, but other than that, what you're expecting out of Peter Pan is what you're going to get out of this movie. You're going to have Peter Pan, Wendy, Captain Hook, Tinkerbell. Peter Pan don't want to grow up. You know, he has his own traumatic backstory. Why? So yeah, Stephanie, how did you feel about Peter Pan and Wendy?
I was not excited before going
No.
into the movie.
Yeah, you should have seen us when we went start this movie. We were both like, "Oh dear God!"
But it was surprisingly good.
Mm-hmm.
I was
much more tolerable than I was going to think it was going to be.
I was actually entertained through the whole movie. What about once we cut out all the credits? It's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Thank
God it was only about an hour and a half.
I actually didn't really find myself bored. The first half of the movie was kind of your typical Peter Pan story that you're used to.
Yeah. It did absolutely nothing new.
Yeah, but it was still good.
Yeah.
But that second half was when it got like really more interesting and more entertaining. With what they brought in with the issues between Peter Pan and Hook.
The backstory between Captain Hook and Peter Pan, because within the Peter Pan mythology or whatever, it's always kind of like Peter Pan and Captain Hook. They've always had their rivalry, but why? There has never been an explanation for why, other than the thing with the crocodile. The crocodile took off Captain Hook's hand. That's kind of that's the extent of how far it goes. That's it. And so yeah, this movie kind of explains that the two of them were childhood friends. Then Captain Hook was like, "Hey, I want to get out of here," but as a result of leaving Neverland, he grew up. So when he came back, it was kind of, no, we're not friends anymore. You're an adult. And yet Peter Pan's whole logic is the metaphor of Peter Pan. You know, adulthood is bad. Adulthood is the villain of life and whatnot. To be young and carefree is how Peter Pan views life and how he always wants it to be. And that's always kind of the life lesson you take from the story of Peter Pan through Wendy's eyes.
And they made it too that Peter Pan is also not the good guy. Or you know, he too is a villain in a way, because he was mad that Hook
grew up,
missed his mom.
Yeah,
he
missed his mom, and
he wanted to go home.
Yeah,
because he missed his mom, and when he said that, Peter was like, "Get the heck out!"
Yeah.
So he was selfish in that way for doing that. So they kind of make it like they're both in the wrong for the things that they've done.
I mean, when you think about the story of Peter Pan, there is something nefarious and sinister about Peter Pan.
Yeah.
That's kind of there on the surface when you really truly think about it.
Yeah.
Because it's about a little boy who refuses to grow up and face adulthood, you know? And that's kind of the whole thing why Wendy and most adaptations, you know, Wendy is always so frustrated and irritated because it's like, you know, grow up. You know, what's wrong with you? Because yeah, she doesn't want to initially grow up, but then she realizes, hey, I'm going to kind of miss out on certain things in my life if I just stay stagnant, you know? So I liked kind of that playing into kind of Peter, not necessarily being a villain, you know, because he's not really a villain, but playing into that more sinister, darker side of him that I think some adaptations over the years have kind of played with, you know, a little loosely, and especially like when I've read like fiction books, like Peter Pan retellings, a lot of times Peter Pan is just straight out the villain, and Captain Hook is always the good guy. The movie, pleasantly surprised with this movie. It's tolerable. Is it the world's greatest Peter Pan adaptation? No. Is it a necessary adaptation? No. But it's still tolerable.
Is it better than some? Yes.
Yes. We're you guys.
Looking at you Pan.
Hugh Jackman, Pan. The only good part about that movie was Garrett Hedlund. I really liked Garrett Hedlund in that. But yeah, oh my God, Pan was a god-awful disaster. Dear God.
Okay, let's not get on to that.
Now, we were talking about this because we kind of kept comparing it to Pan, but in I think a more positive way. Because, Pan had like the musical interludes that made absolutely no sense. In this, there was like some musical interludes.
Those sea shanties were fire.
Yeah, there were musical interludes in this, but they were either from the original Disney cartoon, because this was supposed to be an adaptation of the cartoon Disney, so like Wendy sings a lullaby at some point, and I believe that lullaby was in the cartoon. I think. I'm trying to remember.
But either way, it's a lullaby, so there's nothing wrong with a lullaby.
So the lullaby worked in the context of this movie, and then there's like a couple sea shanties, I think
2 or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3 sea shanties, and once again, they're pirates.
Sea shanties makes sense.
It works. You don't throw in, what was the song from Pan?
Smells like Teen Spirit.
Smells like Teen Spirit. You don't just throw a freaking Nirvana song into a historical fiction setting, So yeah, the musical interludes in this worked. I love the sea shanties.
The sea shanties were cool.
They were balling.
I love that. Yeah, I love the one when she was about to walk, when she was walking the plank.
Oh yeah, to her doom. We all knew she was.
But at the same time, the lyrics were funny. If you've listened to them, and it talked about like something about the alligator was. I wish I could remember it, but something about the alligator was going to eat you and digest you or something.
Yeah. Yeah, like that. Yeah, with Wendy, we know Wendy's not going to die. It's freaking Disney. We know Wendy's not going to die. But yeah, with her walking that plank, because we know she does that in the cartoon. It's still, they were singing like that really serious sea shanty while she's walking to her doom, and just really kind of added a nice little layer to it,
Something else that was good was they cut out like some unnecessary scenes. There were no mermaids, except when they entered Neverland. I don't know, to me, I feel like
you didn't need to have an interlude where they stopped by the Mermaid Lagoon.
Yeah, and have a conversation.
Yeah, you didn't need to have that.
Like, that was a skippable thing, so that was nice.
They took out the racist parts, the natives of Neverland. Instead, they made Tiger Lily a nice badass.
She was kind of like second in command, it seemed like, to Peter.
Yeah. I really liked. At first, I wasn't sure I was going to feel about Tiger Lily in this, because I was thinking, there's just too. It feels like a lot, But I think Tiger Lily worked. I liked her. I wish there was more of her, because I think she was actually pretty fascinating.
Yeah,
it's like I wish they maybe could have just completely. I wish this would have just been a complete just reimagining, taking out the Lost Boys.
Well, maybe they'll have a Tiger Lily movie.
Just completely take out the tiger, just completely take out the Lost Boys, and just focus on Peter, Wendy, Tiger Lily, Captain Hook, and did I say Tinkerbell? And Tinkerbell. Narrow that focus down. I almost feel like you could have done without her brothers, Wendy's brothers. Why were they in this movie?
Yeah, they were barely in it. Were
they served really no function in this movie. The Jason Isaacs Peter Pan movie, I feel like they really put John and Michael to good use in that movie. Because I kind of really vividly remember them in that movie. But yeah, this movie, I can't remember a damn thing.
The brothers were just really there for just comedic
effect,
relief and stuff.
Yeah, I think the problem in this movie,
I mean, they were fine.
Yeah, I think the problem with this movie is just there's too many characters. That's kind of the problem with a lot of Peter Pan things. It's just there's too many characters.
Because then you have the Lost Boys, and then you have, there's like what, 9 of them?
Yeah, there's not too many.
That.
Yeah.
So then the camera's trying to give them a line each.
Yeah.
And have their own little thing.
Yeah.
It's too overwhelming.
Yeah, I really liked Tiger Lily. I was a little worried about that, but I liked her. I wish there was more. I wish there was a lot more. But like I said, could have had everybody else put a little bit more Tiger Lily in there.
I feel like how her and her people, how they got there would be an interesting
backstory.
Because
how did they get there?
Okay, actually, I've never read like Peter Pan or nothing. Like, did everybody just magically appear?
It's never explained.
Never was.
The book doesn't explain nothing. They're just all there. They're there.
That would be kind of interesting, because I would almost feel like Tiger Lily would probably be there first then, on the planet. I don't know what the heck.
Neverland?
In Neverland. So I feel like that would be an interesting story to tell of how Neverland even became a
place
thing. Yeah. And who was the first person there?
Because
how did it all start?
I think what you're supposed to kind of get, that Neverland just kind of came into being, that it's kind of this wishful...
And it finds you?
Yeah, it's kind of this... The way I've kind of always viewed Neverland, because there's never been any sort of backstory for Neverland, you know? People always kind of try, but it never kind of works. There's the thing in Neverland, I've always kind of viewed it as, it's kind of this wishful, hopeful place that children want to go to, because you don't have adults, you don't have to grow up. It's just it's a fantasy land, essentially.
Well, I guess technically maybe the fairies were there first, and they are the ones who go out and find people.
So it's kind of like this thing, like, yeah, Neverland kind of finds you, you know, if you're so desperate and looking for a place to have a fantasy, you know, it finds you and it comes to you, and then you go there, and it's your decision if you want to stay there or go, you know. How did we feel about Jude Law as Captain Hook?
I thought he was a good Captain Hook.
I was not into it for the first half of the movie. I mean, no.
He didn't really, nothing on him.
Yeah.
He did not bring anything new, really, you know.
That's the thing about this movie, it did nothing new.
Captain Hook is Captain Hook.
Yeah.
Personality and everything. His acting is good, especially, like, once we do get to the backstory stuff. But
Jude Law was...
In terms of, like, what his character does, it's nothing really new.
Yeah, Jude Law was fine. The writing doesn't really give him much to do. It's not Jude Law's fault. But yeah, there's nothing new to him really, other than that flashback. Yeah.
There's nothing new to him.
Yeah, that's the whole problem. That's the whole problem with this whole movie. It doesn't take any sort of risk with anything, you know. You're expecting Peter Pan, the story of Peter Pan, that's what you get. It's given to you on a silver platter. It does nothing unique or different. But yeah, Jude Law, he's fine. I liked him in the second half, once you do get more of that backstory with him and Peter, you know, why they are the way that they are, why they treat each other, you know. But yeah, I didn't feel any sort of threat from him.
No, he didn't seem very menacing.
He wasn't scary. I didn't feel threatened. Compared to Jason Isaacs, I really like Jason Isaacs as Captain Hook in that one Peter Pan adaptation. He was scary. I think he was scary. You know, Jason Isaacs, he's you know, this is what kills me about Jason Isaacs. He is such a charming dude, but when he needs to be frightening,
he's a great villain.
He does it so good. That's why he's such a good villain.
It's the charming people who are the best villains.
That's why he is such a good
That's
actor.
why you end up liking villains.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh man, they're so like charming and cool.
It's like Jason Isaacs, he did so much with kind of really not doing too terribly much. It was all just the voice and how he would look at people, you know. And yet Jude Law, there's just nothing kind of really happening there. You know, why is he a threat? I'm not scared of him, you know. But yeah, Jude Law hardly ever plays villains.
No.
You know, he doesn't play villains very often.
Maybe like conflicted people.
Yeah.
But
you know, we've been sitting here talking about Peter Pan. How did you actually feel about Peter Pan?
I actually really liked him, his acting and stuff.
I was kind of on the fence.
I could tell. I was like, yes, you don't look very thrilled.
I could care less about him. I mean, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel anything. He was fine.
But
once again, just
flat.
flat.
I feel like for the actor, I feel like he is probably a good actor. Or once he grows up.
Yeah, the character of Peter Pan is a very weird character, and it's a very tricky role, you know, and that's a lot to put on a kid. You know, it's a lot to put on a kid to try to do something with that character.
Potential for him, though, the actor, I feel like.
But yeah, Peter Pan as a character, he was fine. Once again, just I could care less in some ways, you know. The thing is, this movie is really Wendy's movie. Mm-hmm. This movie should honestly...
Pan kind of disappears.
Yeah.
I kind of realized, wait, where the heck is Pan at?
Yeah, Wendy is pretty much the star of this movie. Let's be real. Should have just been called Wendy. She has, I think, the better character development. She actually has some sort of development.
She has a character.
You know, she has a character. And yeah, the actress was emoting. You know, she was emoting. I was feeling things.
Yeah.
From her. You know, the script still might have not been given her much.
She was
but
carrying the movie.
She was carrying the movie. And yes, Stephanie, what did we find out about her?
The one thing I hate myself the most for as we're watching, I was like, let me go look her up because she's driving me nuts because she looks really familiar. Freaking Mila Jovovich's daughter. Who we technically we grew up watching her. I'd always see her on like, you know, her Instagram or whatever, but she was in the Resident Evil movies twice, I believe. And we didn't even recognize her. And as soon as I saw that, I looked up at the screen. I was like, I swear to God, it's like a little mini Mila.
It's a miniature version of Mila Jovovich. She is the spitting image of her mother.
She really is.
Dear God, just some of her facial expressions that she was doing, I was like, damn. I was like, oh my God, that is Mila Jovovich. It was weird. It was really freaking weird.
After finding that out, it was like, holy crap.
Yeah, she's a really good actress, I think. I think she was actually
a lot of potential.
Yeah, I think she was a very good actress in this. Once again, nothing in regards to the writing is her fault, but what she was given, I think she did really good with. And I think if she has future roles, I really hope she gets future roles. I hope this movie doesn't tug her down. Some of those action sequences, it's like I feel like she got some help and assistance from her mother, because I think she was pulling off some of those action sequences really good too.
I believe, I want to say, I believe they did training together, like they do, like she does martial arts, because of her mom. Yeah, I want to say she does,
because it looked like she was doing some of her own stunts. I mean, yes, there was definitely a stunt person doing some of it, but the camera would focus on her face. Like I feel like she was trying to do as many of those stunts as she could, like her mother does some of her own stunts, you know. But yeah, I hope she gets some good roles in the future. Because, this movie is not her fault. The flaws of this movie are not her fault. I think she was actually a very good actress. I would like to see her in other things. Jesus, if they're doing so many freaking remakes, I mean, they can throw her in one of these random princess.
In Harry Potter.
One of these, I think she's too old to be in Harry Potter. Unless they make her
I think she's like
one of the older characters. Yeah, unless they make her one of the older characters. Yeah. But yeah, they're going to probably cast appropriately. Yeah, she's too old to be like Hermione. Because, she would probably be a great Hermione. But yeah, Jesus, if they do a Tangled remake or Frozen, she could be great as either Rapunzel or Anna or something, you know? Oh, we haven't talked about Tinkerbell. Poor Tinkerbell just not given anything to do in this movie.
Tinkerbell's never does.
The thing about the Tinkerbell character, that's kind of a tricky role to play too, because she can't speak. She just
how do you convey that crap?
She just jingles, She just kind of jingles, but yet she's a very popular character, But yeah, Tinkerbell's fun. I liked Tinkerbell.
I liked the little thing at the end where it made me think of like Polar Express, that you could only hear the bell if you believe, and they like incorporated that into that Wendy believes in Neverland. And
she could hear Tinkerbell finally. That was cute. That was cute. I do think the special effects of this movie were fine.
I was nothing about to mention that, but I feel like the whole flying aspect, that's such a hard thing to pull off. But I feel like as years go on, our behind the scenes people are getting better at getting people to fly and it not look so jumpy and stuff. Yeah. Like I was thinking of that while we were watching it, that the flying and when they would land felt very smooth.
Yeah, it looked smooth and good.
There might have been maybe a few parts where it looked a bit weird, but a lot of the times it looked really smooth.
I think the CG in general looked, the flying, I think the effects of the flying looked pretty smooth, I think. The coloring of Neverland was vibrant and colorful. I think that looked great. Just the visuals of Neverland, And a lot of that stuff, like the ending with the ship flying, looked good. I think the crocodile looked okay.
Yeah.
We didn't get too much of the crocodile. I think the crocodile looked okay. I think the crocodile looked okay.
Yeah. From what we got.
Yeah. So on a visual level, I think the movie looked fine. It looked pretty, I guess just the flaws of this movie is mostly just kind of in the writing and just certain things just kind of flat, nothing really new or unique. This is just your standard Disney remake of their stuff. They're not going to sit and do something outrageously new. It was fine. This movie is fine. It was tolerable. I liked it. If it was just randomly on TV one day, I don't know if it'd ever be on TV. I don't know if this is just a strictly Disney Plus thing, but
it'll be on ABC Family. Probably.
Yeah, I could sit and watch this again. It's not like one of those things like, oh no, I can never watch this again. Like Pan, I don't think I could ever sit and watch Pan again. Let's be real.
I said to you before we started the movie, or was it after, that I was just gonna stick in Pan just for the hang of it.
But yeah, my favorite adaptation of Peter Pan. If you can't tell, because I've mentioned
You've Jason mentioned Isaacs it before anyway in another video.
I've mentioned this so many times on my channel. Yeah, my favorite Peter Pan adaptation is the one with Jason Isaacs and Jeremy Sumter. That is the best one. It is the most true and loyal to the freaking book. What's so
Okay.
hard?
We get it.
So, is that it?
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
No.
So, that is it on our thoughts and feelings on Peter Pan and Wendy. A fine, tolerable time. If you like Disney, if you like the story of Peter Pan, this will probably be up your alley. If you're not really into the story of Peter Pan, you're probably not missing anything. This is not going to do something new and exciting that's going to get you to be like, oh my god, I love Peter Pan, you know. But yeah, it's fine. So you guys, let us know in the comments below if you have seen Peter Pan and Wendy. What did you think about it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? If you hated it, that's okay. Just let us know that. So that's going to be it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye, guys.